welcome to the Near Fall podcast for night one. GardenStateHSWrestling.com's Donald J. Brower here. We are I'm not being held hostage. I'm just sorry the lighting in my room is absolutely horrid, but we're going to try our best. These aren't bags into my eyes or shadows. But it has been a long day of wrestling, but very enjoyable. Got down here last night, had a chance to hang with the wife a little bit and before we got out to the wrestling, but got to talk to a lot of people as they came in. It was nice to get down here a little early. You know what else was nice for us this year was our sponsors. So first, Champion Athletes, Dan Warnikoff. I've said this once, I said it again. Your body is like a car. You can put all the fancy graphics on it with the tattoos. You can do all the lifting, make it look nice. You need the fuel. The fuel is what Dan helps you get. If you're an athlete, you're not an athlete. In-state, out-of-state. Champion Athletes, Dan Warnikoff. And the Apex Wrestling School. 4 locations in New Jersey. 1 in New York, founded by Damian Logan and his high school teammate, Dane Tabano. Big supporters of what we do here at GardenStateHSWrestling.com and the Harrington Companies. You have a house, you have some property. You want to build it up, you want to rip it down, the Harrington Companies recycling, construction, and landscaping are there for you. They're big supporters of what we do here at GardenStateHSWrestling.com. Now, you said we had a big day. Lots of surprises for the most part. A couple of number 1 seeds from the boys being eliminated before the first whistle was blown. But before we get to that, let's get to the girls' side. Get the great tournament so far for the girls. We're already have the semifinal set up and who's going to be wrestling in the medal rounds. At 100. Pretty much chalk with what we were looking for here. We got Conte from Hanover Park versus Diaz Santos from Morris Hills in one semi, and Carmichael from Lakeland versus Goosefa from Ridgewood in the other. They actually met in the North 1 finals with Goosefa winning it 6 days ago. 107 in the wrestlebacks, Lily Henderson from Vernon and Madeline Carmichael from Montfort were there, and they'll medal. Wrestled back from some tough first-round losses and showed some grit and made it to the medal round. Now, 114, I think it's got to be the biggest surprise of all. Reigning state champion Paige Weiss lost to Paige Kirk in the quarters by pin at 5:34. She beat her last week at Region 1. So state champion is going to be wrestling back in the wrestlebacks, and the other two at that weight, Madison's Avery Hines and DePaul's Sophia Lentine are out. They're not going to medal. They got eliminated. 120, Pequannock's Sophia Kletcher fell in the quarterfinal rounds, but is still alive in wrestlebacks and will medal. 126, this one was tough. Liliana Zaku Ramos is in the semis. She barely beat out the girl from Jackson 7-6. There was controversy at the end because the referees were trying to say it was 6-6. I was Matt's side. I saw it as 7-6. They brought Vin Russo over. They totaled up, and it was 7-6, which was what we thought it was, due to an escape and an early reversal that wasn't put up on the board. So she wins it. The other 2 girls we covered that way, Carly Poggio from Hunterdon Central and Ava Hazahortz from Lenape Valley, both were eliminated after their second loss. Heading up to 132, Kayla Vasquez, the reigning state champion from Kinnelon. She's in the semifinals against Natalie Tucker from Vernon. That should be a good matchup. They'll face the winner in that matchup between Pazicki from Bayonne and Aritz from Buena. So they'll wrestle tomorrow in the semis, and then the finals will be Saturday. 138. The matchup I think everybody kind of looking for. I got a great chance to see it when we were up there at Vernon last week. Ella Polillo from High Point is in the semis. On the bottom of the bracket, Eva Barry of Newton/Kittatinny is there as well. And they're on a collision course to meet again, so that'll be another, I think their 6th match overall in the this year. Riley Canati from North Hunterdon will medals in the wrestlebacks. Down at 145, Olivia Georges from DePaul and Julia Fangara both advanced to the semis. That was another really good match we saw up at Region North 1, so I'm expecting to see that again. 152, Samira Kupa dominant 19-second pin. She's in the semis. Solaris Paul from JFK in Patterson is in the semis. She's going to get a tough draw because she's got Adiana Williams from Pemberton on tap, but I put nothing past her there. 185, Caitlin Hart made in the semis. She pinned Olivia Rhea from Warren Hills. Rhea will medal because she wrestled back and is now in the medal area. And also at that weight, Yvette Colon from Morris Hills and Adonis Al Gomez from Hawthorne are eliminated. And then at 235, Caroline Beagle, who was second last year in the state, she's in the semis. She's going to actually meet the girl she wrestled in the finals last year, in Shalitha Collins, who beat Manchester's Tracy Najaro by pin. Najaro, who I wrote a story on and posted on, which you can see on the website, won her first match, but then lost her next two, so she's out, but has a really good future ahead of her. And Par Hill's Kayla Mena, the heavyweight, will medal. She's in the medal round. So good setup for the girls. The only thing I'll say is I wish they kind of, when they got some of the wrestlebacks, they split up between boys and girls to kind of keep it rolling. But it all went well, and everything's going good so far. Now, as I said, talking a little earlier about the boys, we already knew Old Bridges, Logan Roman, had surgery, emergency surgery. He was out. He withdrew. They reseeded. The one they weren't expecting was at 106. Tyler Hildebrand from Williamstown, the top seed, missed weight this morning. Now, it was varying on what they were saying. I've heard it was as little as half a pound. So that wound up pulling him out. And what happens is when that happens or there's somebody misses weight, they don't reseed. So now the 32 seed advanced, which honestly opened the top of the bracket for Brody McNeil, who's the 16th seed. He comes in. He's got a great shot. He's going to have a tough draw against Alex Esposito of West Essex in the quarters. But, I mean, come on. He's going to have a really good shot there. And then also in that weight is Cameron Sons and Jake Holly still around. And then you look at the wrestlebacks when you see who's there. You have some quality guys who made it down there, but we had some guys who fell back. Augie Zamaretta wrestled back. He's down there. Frank Figel from Jefferson, fell to wrestle back. So did Logan Forgatch from Par Hills, Reed Busby from North Hunterdon, and Connor Hallowich from North Warren. They're still around and able to wrestle back. Then, see if I get this light a little bit better so I'm not completely overshadowed. Let me see if I can see if this works. We're going to try something, folks. This is on the fly, so please bear with me. Is that better? Do I look like I'm Vincent Price, maybe? Yeah, this works. We'll do that, whatever. Then you want to get over here to 113. When you look at the 113 bracket, we got a nice little chance here with Tyler Higginson getting the seed there. Is this working? I'm just going to scare people, so I'm going to turn it off. Tyler Higginson. That works better. Tyler Higginson from Mount Olive. He's in the quarterfinals tomorrow, the second seed. And then looking at our guys who have unfortunately fallen in the wrestlebacks and are looking to wrestle back for a medal. You have Delvin Rope from DePaul Catholic, Jack Bergman from Lakeland, who lost a tough one in Ultimate Tiebreaker. Then you have James McGinty from Par Hills, Jack Lorper from Hawthorne, Jake Taylor from Del Val, and Aiden Yeruzzi from North Hunterdon, and Peter Terranova from Del Barton. So they're around and still able to wrestle back for a medal, but they're out of contention for first place. Then you had the 120. This is the Anthony Knox weight. I mean, nothing else to tell you. That kid is by far the favorite, nationally ranked, probably the best wrestler in the tournament, to be honest with you. We were actually having a debate, some of the writers, who was the next best kid, and there were some good names, but Knox is far and away the best. He's there at 120, and then looking at who could possibly face him. The only one really in our coverage area is Anthony Rossi, who won by beating Nicholas Adams from West Orange in the pre-quarters and in the prelims, and then beat major decision Anthony Piemonte from Mount Olive in the pre-quarters. Everybody else in our area fell in the wrestlebacks. So Jason Kruchowski from Butler, like I said, Anthony Piemonte from Mount Olive, Owen Garrix from Phillipsburg. Then you have Rafe Fonte from Mendham and Charlie Piccioni from Warren Hills, as well as Nick DeFrancesco Antonio of Hanover Park, who had the unenviable position of meeting Knox last round. So they are still alive for a medal. Now we head over to the 126. So far for us, not a bad day. Jaden Perez is in the quarterfinals. He's going to get a hard shot with Luke Sherlock from Shawnee, but he should be competitive there. Dalton Weber from Pope John, he made the quarters as well. And Ryan DeGeorge from Del Barton made it as well. Now, got some really quality wrestlers that fell into the wrestlebacks as well. Sadly to say, he's in the wrestlebacks. Shane Wysocki from North Hunterdon, Brandon Barris from Mount Olive, Michael Vandermeulen from Jefferson. You got some quality kids there. And then you go down to the lower part of the bracket. Najee Salim from Clifton. He's down there. And then you're going to have pretty much for our coverage area, that's it. So good amount of representation still around, able to go here at 126. Now 132, this is kind of going how I thought it would. The only one I would say, and this is a big win for him, is if you go by seeding here, Nicholas Bilella from Hackettstown. Nicholas Bilella came in as a 12 seed. He beats the 21 seed, which kind of you understood, but then he beats the 5 seed from St. Peter's Prep, who was up in that match, but late escape Bilella takes it 4-3. He's got a tough opponent in Patrick O'Keefe, but you made the quarterfinals. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's impressive. You never know what's going to happen there when you get out there on the mat. So, Nicholas Bilella, was impressive so far. And then the bottom match in the bracket, Chase Quinault from Del Barton. He's there, and he's going to be wrestling Carson Walsh from Pope John. I really like Walsh. He's been getting tech falls and, getting rolling there. And I think it's going to be him and DeJesus in the finals. And I would not, like I said in my preview video, I would not be surprised if Walsh walked away with that there. So, I mean, that's going to be a really good matchup if it happens. And then in wrestlebacks, Nico Gregory from Randolph fell down in the wrestlebacks. And then Nick Clayton from High Point and Gavin Galetta from Peaburg. So not as much reputation as 132, but still got some kids alive and still got some quality wrestlers out there. Now heading to 138, not a lot of difference in the seating. I think everything would kind of where it would have been. The only upset I would say was at one part is Ryan Langenmeyer from Lakeland. He lost to Noah Kochman of Bergen Catholic. That was a 6-11 matchup there. So that I don't know if I can say that an upset because, as I said, Soda Seeds have been kind of wacky. But so far for regards to our coverage area, Jaden James, the 2 seed, has looked dominant so far. He's still available in the quarterfinals, and I think he'll advance. So I think Jaden James has a really good shot. But as far as wrestlebacks, you got Jackson Bush from Delaware Valley, Langenmeyer, as I mentioned, from Lakeland, Logan Horenko from Sparta, Noah Zindaki from Wayne Valley, Josh Lee, which that was the other upset. I did miss that. Josh Lee did lose a very close matchup, and they were going at it. So, Josh Lee, the 4 seed, falls down in there. And I feel scared for a lot of those guys down there because I think Josh is on a mission. So we'll see. Justin Holly from Pope John also fell to wrestlebacks, as well as Mario Fornini. So good luck to everyone still in the wrestlebacks. But let's head to 144. I almost said 104. I don't think there is a 104 anymore, or if ever. Looking at here, the one guy who jumps out to me who's still in it, and I think he has a really good shot here is Jack Myers from Morristown. Won by pin in the prelims and the pre-quarters. He's going to get August Hibbler from Leonia in the quarters, and I really like him. I think Myers is going to do really well in this. And then looking at wrestlebacks, we had some guys drop down some names. I saw Trevor Jones from Del Barton, Luke Galetta from Phillipsburg, William Sella from Hunterdon Central. You got guys like that. You also have Benjamin Marchetto from West Milford and Joey Cantilano from Newton. So, good amount there. I if anybody I look at that I think can wrestle back and go on a little bit of a run is Marchetto. He finished 8th in the state a couple of years ago. So it would not shock me if he went on a little run there that weight and wrestled back. I mean, it's going to be tough. You also have to watch for the surprises because sometimes you get a guy who you expect to get there and gets upset and falls down. It just wipes out the bracket down below. So it's going to be real tough for them a lot with that. So headed to 150. The number 1 seed is out. So apparently, and I don't know the whole story, but apparently when Jonathan Fuller from St. Peter's Prep lost last week in the regions, he punched a wall or a door or punched something and broke his hand. He injury defaulted out. So now the 16th seed, Tyler Burnett, winds up winning by injury default. Now he's in the quarters. So that opens up the top. And realistically, looking at who's there, it really, really opens up the top for Gavin Hawk. Hawk is sitting there at the 5th seed. He's going to wrestle the 20 seed from Passaic Hills, Jake Waka. Waka advanced by DQ. The 4 seed Camden Catholic got DQ for a slam. So Hawk has got a really good shot to make the final here, where he's at in the quarter. So that really helps out Hawk. And I think Hawk's going to take advantage and make a run to the finals. And the guy I'm kind of looking at right now from everything I see is I think he's going to wrestle Gabe Logan from Del Barton. Logan's been on a roll too. So, they got some really good, wrestlers there, but I think that's going to be a really nice final if that's what comes to pass. And then looking down at wrestlebacks in our area, James Conklin from PCTI, Tanner Perez from Mount Olive, and then Reese Smith from Kittatinny, Rhett Wozleski from Hunterdon Central, Ben Levy from Del Val. They're sitting there, and you never know. You never know who can wrestle back. I wouldn't put it past Rhett on making a run. And I also really wouldn't put it past, not in our area, but a guy I kind of keep an eye on. Nick Janish from West Essex. I mean, that's a kid you kind of want to look at and see how you do and get everything going with him. So headed to 165, or excuse me, 157. I almost jumped a weight there. 157. This is really kind of going how I thought about. The only surprise, I'll say, James DeCunto from North Warren. He fell in the pre-quarters 2-0 to Nevlin from St. Peter's Prep. Listen, you have to understand it was bound to happen. Nothing against anybody there, but you just get those type of matches. It's a grind. So I don't think that we won't be seeing the last of James's tournament. And then the rest of the bracket. No, the only people, that we cover, Carl Betts from Del Barton, he's in the quarters. He's going to have a tough time against Cage Jones of Camden Catholic, but he's still alive. And, like I said, you never can tell when it comes to wrestling. And get out there and see what happens. Still wrestling in wrestlebacks, Nicholas Laciatello from Pompton Lakes, Sean Walker from Lakeland, Omar Turecki from PCTI, Michael Sutter from Del Val, Logan Wycorick from Voorhees, Roger Barazlueta from Hills, DeCunto, like I said, from North Warren, and Joseph Lucarello from Wayne Hills. Now we go to 165. This is the Alessio Parenton show. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He has looked above and beyond anybody out there at that weight. I don't even know if he broke a sweat. He spent a little over 2 minutes entirely on the mat while I was out there. So, I mean, he might be running laps in the hallway right now to get that heart rate up. And then there's no one else in the area that would be for, dealing with him. The only one I would say is keep an eye on Jordan Chapman from Cranford. I mean, that might be the guy you want to look at and go with, for there and do that. But as far as in the wrestlebacks, you want to look here. Got Gavin Gomes, who was very impressive today with some of his matches. I was really impressed with his grit and some of the guys he wrestled. So Gavin Gomes is in the wrestleback. Nando Ott is in the wrestlebacks. Ethan Dolling is in the wrestlebacks. Michael Fammy from Whippany Park. Nando Ott from Hanover Park. Ethan Dolling from Kittatinny. Michael Fammy from Whippany Park. Chad McConnell from Pompton Lakes. Ryan Flammer from Jefferson. Brian Wilson from North will face Joseph Galetta from Clifton. That'll be a really good wrestleback. William Capizzi from Passaic Valley are the only ones we have at 165, but 165 is loaded in the wrestleback. So I will be there at 9 a.m. Looking at some of these great matches that we're going to have tomorrow from some of these guys, because some of these guys are going to be battling it out there. Now, 175, we talked about it being the Parenton show at 165. This is the Ryan Burton show. I've told people this. I don't know how many times I said it. I saw this kid as a freshman. I went over to his parents when I talked to him. I said, your kid's going to win a state title. And she said, from your mouth to God's ear. So I must have God's ear, because I'm telling you right now, this kid has looked impressive. I don't know what it is. He's on a collision course with Lou Sergio, the champion from last year. He pinned Sergio in the non-public North groups. I don't think it'll be a pin this time, but it's going to be a real battle there. And those are the two guys I'm kind of looking at here at 175. And let's not look past the guy. I don't want to get any calls from the Flemington contingent, but Thomas Brunetti from Hunterdon Central, undefeated, the senior. He's in the quarters. He's most likely going to meet Sergio in the semis if they both make it there. But I think on the top, you're looking at Burton, and you're kind of seeing who wins that other match down below. But should be a really good final there. And then wrestlebacks, you got Liam Packer from Phillipsburg, Nico Gonzalez from Mount Olive, Bryce Coesfeld from Kittatinny, Jack McCaffrey from Madison, Evan Kinney from North Hunterdon, Kevin Roman from Del Val, and those are the ones that are going to represent our coverage area in the wrestlebacks. Heading to 190. Again, this is going to be a really good match tomorrow. Something I want to see, because I really like this kid. Frankie Martino made the quarterfinals. He's going to get reigning state champion Harvey Luddington from Britain Memorial. Tough task. But Frankie's going to go out there and fight. So I'm impressed with how he's wrestled. I'm going to see, him out there. And then, of course, at the bottom, you got Vincenzo Laval, who's, every bit the two-time third place medalist as he's done the last 2 years. And he's going to most likely meet the man he lost to in the county finals, Tyler Venus from Mount Olive, who's been just as dominant. He's going to have a tough matchup with Caleb Jackson and St. Joe Montvale in the quarters, but I think they're both going to meet again, and that's just going to be a really good final. So, I mean, I think that's going to be another one, it's going to have high interest in our area and representation. And then looking down at wrestlebacks, we got a few guys. We got Anderson Olcott from Del Val, and Kyle Blue from Belvedere, as well as I'm gonna mispronounce his name, so I probably apologize. Elbrus Majaga. I think I got that right. Majalaga from Del Barton. So if I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry. Have Samino send me a photonetic spelling of every name so I don't sound like an idiot on the videos. Now, speaking of Del Barton, we got a really nice matchup in the quarterfinals that once again I'm going to be there to keep an eye on. You got Vincent Lee, who upset the reigning state champion Hunter Scove last week, number 1 seed. He's in the quarters against a guy who may be a Don Bosco, but he's a Hanover Park guy at heart, Dante DeLuca. And I think that's going to be a good matchup in the quarters there. And then as far as, the wrestlebacks for 215, we have some guys, not as many as you think, but, we have Nathan Smith from Phillipsburg against Brandon Venziano from Passaic Valley. And then William Knapp from Roxbury, Tommy Borgia from Westmore Central. I talked about this. I said this before. The seating for those two guys was a joke. The way it was ridiculous. They both won their regions. It's a joke. But I don't want anybody sending me a nasty email from the state or anything, but that was ridiculous. And then Tyler Cumming from Mount Olive. He's the other one down there at 215. So I don't put it past Borgia. The problem is I can't say Knapp and Borgia can go on a run because they're on a collision course. So if Knapp wins and Borgia wins one match and Knapp wins two, they're going to wrestle each other. So one of them is going to get knocked out, which is a shame, which is why seeding matters, people. And then we'll go to heavyweight. This is one that I'm intrigued by because I am a fat guy. Can't you tell? I'm sorry, I got the Oprah filter on. It shaves 10 pounds off every piece of my beard here. You have John Wargo from Peaburg there, Connor Martin from Del Barton. They're in the semis, not wrestling each other on offsides of bag, but they advanced. And then in the heavyweight, we have Timothy Conley from Jefferson. He's right there. Josh Turner from DePaul. Mason Brancato from Pompton Lakes, and Luke Abilio from Montville. So still a lot of wrestlers available, still a lot of wrestlers around. Obviously the wrestlebacks will take some of them off the board very early and on the day. Got a long day tomorrow, too. Tomorrow's going to be incredibly hectic. But if you're looking to listen to this voice a little more, I am going to be calling the semifinals on NJ.com. So tune in. It's going to start at 6 p.m. I'm not sure which mat I'm on yet, but you can tune in. You can hear me call the action for the state semifinals, which I'm honored to be a part of. But you can follow us for all the information. Follow us on our social medias, on Facebook at Garden State HS Wrestling, on Twitter or X at Garden State HSW, on Instagram at Garden State HS Wrestling, and like and subscribe on YouTube. We have all the nightly videos. We're also going to be doing some other stuff coming up, and we also have the messages and the videos we did with some of the winners today. We're going to have some tomorrow. And don't forget, you get notified when we do our end of the tournament stuff. I'm going to be interviewing every champion from our area. We're going to be viewing every medalist, unless somebody avoids me. It happens every now and then. But I'm going to try to hit it at 98% for all state medalists, boys and girls. And we're going to have a fun little wrap up. We're going to do all the fun stuff we can do. It's not over. It's just a start. This is like the appetizer course of the state tournament. So let's get ready for that big old steak and then have that fine creme brulee dessert on Saturday. But for Jared, the podcasting legend, and my beautiful wife, Amanda, I'm Donald J. Brower. We'll see you next time.